If your curls are limp, frizzy, and not holding no matter what you do, then they may be over-moisturized. In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix moisture overload and how to prevent it from happening in the future using some products from Curlsmith, who is kindly partnering with me for this video. My name is Gina and welcome back to my channel. Here we talk all things naturally curly. I love talking about the science of hair, walking you through step-by-step tutorials, and really helping you problem solve with your curls, which is what we're going to do here today when it comes to moisture overload and getting your curls back. If you have been treating your curls badly this summer, maybe you've been having a ton of fun in the sun, in the water, your curls are probably looking a little bit limp, maybe frizzy, and they're not really springing up like they used to. This can be from many different causes, everything from damage to moisture overload. Before we dive into how to fix moisture overload, let's first cover what is moisture overload. Moisture overload is when the hair has received too much moisture from water and or conditioning ingredients in hair care products. Some signs of moisture overload are limp curls that are not bouncing up like they used to. They might be very weighed down and not have that usual spring to them. If your hair feels very mushy or gummy or almost wet feeling even when it's completely dry. If your hair still feels damp by the end of the day, even though you've maybe diffused or air dried for many hours and it still feels damp. If your hair is overly soft, silky, and it won't hold a cast no matter what you do. If your hair is very frizzy, maybe you have a ton of wet frizz and you have a lot of fuzzy frizz when your hair is dried. And it has too much elasticity to where it just stretches and stretches and doesn't return back to its natural state, then you could have moisture overload. Moisture overload and hygral fatigue are similar, but they are two different things. Hygral fatigue is more of the extreme side where the hair has actually become stressed and damaged from repeated wetting and drying of the hair. When our hair gets wet, it swells and then it kind of lowers back down once it dries, and doing that too much or leaving the hair wet for long periods of time where it is swollen can lead to hygral fatigue. So that's more actual damage to the hair that's done over time. Whereas moisture overload can simply be you just use too much moisture in your wash day routine, or maybe you've been doing that for every single wash day, or you've been swimming a ton and washing your hair a lot throughout the summer and your hair is never really fully dried. That's definitely more so a moisture overload. So they're similar, but one is more extreme than the other, and hygral fatigue involves more actual damage to the hair structure and the cortex within the inner workings of the hair. But both of them can definitely occur in the summertime if you have been swimming a ton, maybe you've been washing your hair more frequently and your curls just need to be restored back to their natural state. So now let's get started with how to actually fix moisture overload. And if you think you might have hygral fatigue, these tips can definitely still apply. Also, this might seem like quite a few steps, but if your curls are really needing it and they need that loving hair to get back to their natural state, you are gonna have to put in a little bit of that effort and a few extra steps for this particular wash day routine, but this is not something that I would do every single time that I wash my hair. I am starting off with my curls that have been in a bun for several days, stretched out. I was at the beach last week. My curls got very dry and they definitely are in need of some TLC. So this is gonna be like a treatment type of wash day. The first step to fix moisture overload is going to be to clarify, to remove the buildup of conditioning products on your hair using the Curlsmith Detox Shampoo. Moisture overload is often just a buildup of those conditioning products that we use on our curls that work great, but sometimes we can use too much of them. Even if you've just been swimming, if you've been in salt water, chlorine, you have some product residue on your hair, this is going to help remove all of that buildup. You would want to swap your regular shampoo with a clarifying shampoo about once a month or more, depending on how much buildup that you typically get. The Curlsmith Wash and Scrub Detox Shampoo has a high lather. It's got a microfine scrub to slough away those dead skin cells and product residue from the scalp. So that way your follicles are clear and healthy. Healthy hair definitely starts with a healthy scalp. I didn't want to overwhelm you with too many steps, but I highly recommend the full detox kit because it has a primer that you use first to detangle your curls. Then you use the Wash and Scrub Detox Shampoo. And then it also comes with a conditioner that's going to help better get through your hair before the next step. So highly recommend the detox kit, but if you want to simplify the routine, at least use the clarifying shampoo. So after we've clarified to remove that buildup, the next step is going to be to use a bond repairing treatment like Curlsmith Bond Curl. So this is designed to be used on hair before shampoo. Like typically you would apply it to dirty hair, But if you have severe buildup, you might want to try clarifying first before using it to ensure that it can fully soak in. It is a few extra steps, but that can really help. If you're short on time, then just start with bond curl as your first step and then shampoo afterwards. So this contains both bond repairing ingredients to repair broken bonds in the hair and protein to strengthen and prevent damage. That's really what makes bond curl unique from other bond building treatments, is it does contain that protein in it as well. And it has some conditioning ingredients which help easier apply it and spread it around. This will help restore your hair's lost structure, shape, and elasticity. And depending on your damage level, you can leave it on longer, such as up to 30 minutes before rinsing. Do not leave this on all day though, or overnight. It's going to stop working anyways once your hair starts to dry, and you don't want to end up with protein overload. So make sure that you're properly following the directions on the label, which include shampooing it out afterwards, not leaving it in too long. So since my hair has some coarse areas that I don't want to feel too brittle, I'm just going to leave mine on for about 15 minutes. The third step is to shampoo using a mild cleanser like the Curlsmith Essential Moisture Shampoo to remove bond curl. Now you can use any shampoo that you have. If you skipped clarifying, you definitely still have to shampoo after using bond curl. So I just like to use my regular shampoo or something that's very mild because my scalp is already clean from clarifying. Make sure you're rinsing out your shampoo thoroughly and we're ready to condition. Step number 4 is to finish with a deep conditioner to restore moisture. I highly recommend using a deep conditioner over a regular conditioner when you're doing a treatment like bond curl, so that way your hair is still soft and moisturized, because bond curl is going to give it that strength, and then the deep conditioner is going to help restore moisture. So opt for one with protein, such as the multitasking conditioner, for an extra boost of strength if your hair is severely over moisturized or if it's damaged, and use a protein-free option if your hair is overall healthy, low porosity, or if it gets brittle very easily. Since I don't need much protein, I'm going to rinse it out shortly after using it, but this can also be used as a rinse out conditioner or even a leave-in conditioner. If your hair is over moisturized, I would not use it as a leave-in in this routine. We're going to actually skip leave-in conditioner for this routine. We have finally made it to styling, and if you're confused on the steps for this type of routine, check out the blog post, which will be in the description box below, where I list out everything and why I do that order of steps. So the next step is going to be to style as usual, but select products that are low in moisture if you're dealing with moisture overload. You may even just want to skip the curl cream and leave-in conditioner and just use a lightweight gel or mousse to style your hair. So I first used the Curlsmith Miracle Shield, which is something I always use to protect my hair from heat and the sun. So I sprayed that on my hair first and brushed it through, and then I'm going straight to gel. So the Curlsmith Shape Up Aqua Gel is one of my all-time favorites because it has both protein and lightweight moisture. I love using it on its own too to increase the hold, because this is more of a light to medium hold gel. You want to avoid creams and gels with heavy butters and moisturizing ingredients that are high on the ingredients list if your hair becomes over moisturized easily. I also recommend trying to damp style over styling your hair soaking wet, especially if your hair gets weighed down or over moisturized easily. You can still add some water as you go, but styling your hair soaking wet will just take longer to dry. It's going to dilute your products, especially when you're using a light hold gel like this one, and it's also going to increase moisture overload if you're styling soaking wet and your hair already has moisture overload. So I did my usual styling routine, which just includes applying my gel in sections and brushing it through to ensure it's evenly distributed. I also do some light brush styling, nothing too crazy, but just enough to plump the curls that tend to be very stringy around my face framing pieces, and also to help get some root lift and volume. After I style, I scrunch with my Curlsmith microfiber towel to soak up the excess water. This is especially great to do if you do like to style soaking wet, because it's going to absorb that excess water and still allow you to dry your hair faster even when styling soaking wet. But after you scrunch with the towel, I recommend adding in some extra gel. So just glaze some extra gel over the surface if needed to increase your hold and help tame frizz. Step number 6 is to diffuse with the Curlsmith Diffusion hair dryer and the XXL diffuser attachment. Diffusing is going to evaporate all that water, set your gel cast and your curl shape in place. This will not only help your curls last a lot longer, but it will prevent hygral fatigue, especially if you have low porosity hair. You do not want to be air drying for hours on end. This is not great for your hair. The other advantage of diffusing is your hair is done right away and you don't have to go hours on end walking around with your hair wet, which then can lead to frizz, especially if it's touching and rubbing against things. So this way you can get your hair dry quicker. And so what you can do if you're short on time is diffuse for at least a couple of minutes until you start to set that gel cast and the curl shape how you want it, and then you can finish air drying. Using a diffuser with prongs like this also helps lift the roots and prevent stretched out, weighed down roots, which is especially great if you are dealing with over moisturized hair where your curls have become very elongated. Diffusing is going to help shrink everything back up to your natural curl pattern. Once your hair is completely dry, then you can scrunch out the crunch with a little bit of oil if you want to, or you can just use dry hands. So I'm using the Curlsmith Bond Curl Oil. This is very lightweight. It contains both sealing and penetrating oils. So it has oils such as olive oil, coconut, and shea butter. And it also is very lightweight. So it's not going to make your hair feel greasy or weighed down. It's going to strengthen the hair, help improve the elasticity, and those sealing oils are going to lock in moisture. So this is going to help ensure that your hair remains soft after using all of those strengthening products, and then also lock in the moisture too. Do you guys see this bounce in my curls? My curls haven't been this bouncy in a while. It's definitely from that bond curl treatment. Also, if you have any dampness that's left over in your hair after you scrunch out your crunch, finish off with a little bit of diffusing. This is just going to finish off drying your hair, especially if you're someone where your hair tends to stay really wet and that gel cast locks in the water. Once you scrunch it out, you can go in and diffuse afterward if you do want to really fluff up the hair and get some more volume. Just a little tip. What do y'all think of these final results? I can definitely tell that my curls have really sprung back up. I was actually just at the beach last week and my hair looked horrendous by the time I got back. I was using products that weren't good. It was stretched out from being up in a bun. It was very tangled, super frizzy and dry. And I hadn't used products with protein in a while. So this wash day, it was definitely needed for me. And I can definitely tell that my curls have sprung back up because my hair is way shorter. It looks like I got a haircut, but that is just where the curl pattern has tightened a bit from that bond curl and these products that are rich in proteins. I'm surprised that without using a curl cream, how moisturized my curls still feel. I was prepared for my hair to feel a little bit brittle after all the protein and not using a curl cream, but it actually feels very balanced. I think because the Shape Up Aqua Gel does have some moisture in it, and I did the moisturizing deep conditioner that was lower in protein. So my hair definitely doesn't feel brittle at all. Even in the coarse areas that I have, they still feel okay. But keep in mind, if you have lower porosity hair and coarse textured hair, that combination would not quite be suited for a rich protein routine like this one. You would maybe want to incorporate just one or two products, maybe just the multitasking conditioner, only leave it in for a few minutes. You wouldn't need to use this many protein products. Definitely make sure that you maintain that balance in your routine and just pick a few here and there, and then incorporate some protein-free products as well within your routine. And as I mentioned in the beginning, this is not something that I would do every single wash day. This is what I would do when my curls are in need of that bounce back. They need to return back to their normal state and I need a reset. Then my curls should be good to go for a while. Maybe once a month or so, I could do a routine like this. I'm gonna link all of the products that I used in this routine in the description box down below, as well as in the pinned comments. Be sure to let me know what you thought. Which one of these steps do you plan on incorporating in your routine? And what other questions do you have about moisture overload or hygral fatigue? Let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to everyone. And if you need more help with your post-summer curl routine, check out the recent video that I did. It's called Mistakes That Are Ruining Your Curls This Summer, where we talk more about water damage in the hair, how to keep the curls looking bouncy and nice in the summertime, and many more tips for preventing frizz. So that video will be linked right here on the screen and I will talk to you over there. Bye everyone.